Welcome back to Street Level Marketing with your host, Mark Lamplugh. And you loving what you're watching? Don't miss Street Level Marketing or any of your favorite Now Media TV shows. Live, on demand, anytime, anywhere. Download the free Now Media TV app on Roku or iOS and enjoy instant access to our full lineup of bilingual programming in both English and Spanish. Prefer to listen on the go? Catch the podcast version of the show right on the Now Media TV website, www.nowmedia.tv. From businesses to breaking news to lifestyle, culture, and everything in between, Now Media TV is streaming 24/7, ready whenever you are. And I'm back here with Street Level Marketing, and I'm with talking to Evan Millman from Upland, and we're talking about brands and how to build them and stay innovative. And now, kind of want to talk about the future and thinking ahead.
hmm
Evan, what is foresight thinking, and how does it apply to brand development?
Yeah. So foresight is comparable to insight. So insight is the study of what's happened in the past, how people felt or are feeling. Foresight is you're trying to make the best guess of what's to come. And the power is that you can build brands and products that are relevant for the future. So foresight is about playing offense. That's how I typically call it. It's mapping where your customer, your category, culture, etc., are headed, and it's making sure your brand and products are ready for it.
How do you help brands plan for a change while still staying grounded?
We always design two parallel tracks. One track focuses on what's working now, what's driving revenue today, where your brand strengths are most clear. The other track looks at the edge, so experiments, the next bets, the things that might feel small today that will be game changers tomorrow through a snowball effect. And it's really important to help balance those two, so you're not losing sight of what's working while also having an eye to the future.
Can you give an example of a brand that positioned well for for future relevance?
Yeah, we worked with a snack brand that saw early on how consumer curiosity was becoming a growth driver, and now most of their best products are all about mashups. So mixing unexpected ingredients, seeking out really cool partnerships, and helping them stay in culture. This is Snack Club, a brand that is, I think, number 4 in nut mixes and trail mixes. Though a lot of consumers don't know them, but they know their products.
Yeah.
They know their innovation. So you're seeing things like Hidden Valley Ranch nuts or Hot Ones flavored trail mix. It wasn't about just one product. It's now infused in their DNA. That's what they do, is create the unexpected.
Yeah, I always admired, food and beverage brands, because when you go into a supermarket and you're I mean, it is very easy to get lost and even to penetrate and get into the stores. I mean, I got to imagine there's a lot of there's more unsuccessful, opportunities that, companies are trying to get in than that actually work.
Yeah, it's 500 ideas for a successful idea.
Yeah.
Not more. And food and beverage, what's fun about it's probably half of my work is in food and beverage. What's fun working in those categories is the innovation cycles are very fast. Mm-hmm. They're constant. There's always new stuff coming out. So a lot of work for us.
Yeah, I would say that's the biggest change from my, being in marketing and healthcare than to me coming over in the automotive space. Is healthcare marketing was pretty, behavioral, mental health, addiction issues.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pretty constant thing. Like the ad campaigns that we did were pretty steady. You had your digital campaigns. You changed a little bit. Maybe you had mental health month, but when the auto industry, there's new offers twice a month from all the brands, and you got to change all your messaging. Then you have all different kinds of sales, and you're competing with other, you know.
Yeah, and people's relationship with their vehicles are changing, right? I mean, there's all sorts of ways to pull at heartstrings. One of my big clients is Toyota, so it's definitely quite interesting. I mean, even in healthcare, right? I mean, each new generation in mental health and addiction creates a whole new relationship with those challenges. I mean, Gen Z is going to be very different than Gen Alpha once we understand what Gen Alpha's issues are. And within each of those, right, there's all sorts of sub pockets. So, it's really about understanding your consumer and how to grow with them intimately.
And yeah, that's where the stigma through each generation kind of softens up. You know, you got like my parents and grandparents' generation, like a treatment center. You wouldn't have it. You tough it up, and now it's a little bit more. They have app-based counseling services now, and you can do them online. So it's.
I mean, just look at how comedy's changed. I mean, stand-up comedy is talking is like talking about mental health 50% of the time. Back in the day, it was not about it at all.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. How does future casting affect like naming, messaging, and design?
Yeah, so for those who don't know future casting, right, it's a core part of in output of Foresight. So you're trying to understand what's about to happen, what are the various future scenarios. For naming, messaging, design, product development, you have to build in flexibility. So you want to pick names, for example, that won't box you into a corner, messaging that can stretch across different types of consumers, consumer needs, their use cases. We see this trap happening a lot with brands that they're building for right now rather than leaving room for themselves to grow. The future is messy.
Yeah. What shifts in consumer psychology are changing how brands need to behave?
Yeah, I'd say the old playbook that we heard a lot was more choices means more satisfaction. In a lot of industries, maybe not as much cars, which is interesting. The new playbook is give me fewer, smarter choices that make me feel confident that I chose correctly. So this huge desire for simplicity you're seeing, I mean, it's just such a complex world. People gravitate towards the simple.
Yeah. What role does AI and tech play in shaping tomorrow's brand landscape?
I was waiting for you to ask me a question about AI. I mean, it depends on the industry, right? I think you see so much proliferation of AI. You have AI on every website and chatbot now.
Yeah.
So it's a lot about customer service. People are okay talking to an AI chatbot because they know that it's going to get them to an answer quickly versus, let's say an automated telephone line. So the best brands are blending product and experience together through AI.
Yeah, our owner here for this dealership group is completely against any type of customer connection with AI, be it chat or phone. He wants it personal. He wants the customer to feel like they're talking to a live person. Now he's okay with using it on other processes, things like that, but he's not there yet with human interaction. And that goes into a big part, especially with the behavioral mental health space too. What's if somebody's in crisis,
Mm-hmm.
want them talking to an AI, or do you want them talking to a human when they're calling in? So that's a dilemma there that I think's going to be crossed.
I think that's our next show, Mark. I mean, it's super interesting. I mean, you see entire categories upended because AI can service faster. And in mental health, I mean, you hear instances of a lot of people using AI as a therapist very effectively.
Yeah.
Because there are no therapists available until 3 to 6 months from now. I mean, the mental health crisis that is going on. My wife's a therapist, right? So I can tell you, there's a lot of tools in between sessions that you can use, or you can help, build language for your next session with your therapist. to make those sessions more effective. And that applies to more industries than just mental health.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite technique or, for stress testing a brand against the future?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say playing out a bunch of what if scenarios. So we think about scenario planning. So, there could be 5 different scenarios that a category could be headed in. Typically, the reality is a mixture of multiple of those, but you allow that a client or a brand to sit in each of those and think about what are we exposed to there? How can we win in each scenario? What would our products, services, marketing need to look like in each of those scenarios? And what that does is allow a ton of blind spots to game plan around, so that when they actually do happen, you can act way faster, or you can innovate ahead of them.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up to time, the hour, and I want to give, the watchers, the viewers, and the listeners an opportunity to reach out, find you,
Yeah.
talk about a little bit about what you're up to. So you want to share a little bit about your company, how anybody can get a hold of you, some of the projects that you're working on?
Yeah, yeah. I'd say, first of all, I'm open to any conversation, right? So, if you're a leader of an organization and any of this stuff that we've talked about is resonating with you, let's chat. No pressure to, use our services, but I'd love to hear kind of what you're looking into for product innovation, brand strategy. Feel free to search me on LinkedIn. There's only a couple Evan Millmans on there, so you'll find me. Shoot me a line at evan.millman@go-upland.com. Our website is go-upland.com, as you could guess from my email address. I'd love to hear from you. As for what I'm working on, a lot of confidential stuff. Working with a lot of companies right now in automotive products, like oils, manufacturers, candy brands, snack brands, toy brands, healthcare companies. So, a lot of this stuff applies across many industries. So yeah, reach out.
Right. I just want to get you real quick. If you could give one piece of advice to any business about building a brand that lasts, what would that be?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say you got to look at Foresight, right? So the idea is to build a brand that's still going to work 5 years down the line, not a brand that's going to work for, today or even last year. So you got to invest in Foresight rather than simply building a brand on insight.
All right. Well, that wraps up another thought-provoking episode of Street Level Marketing. Evan reminded us that staying relevant takes intention, not just reaction. If you want to build a brand for what's next, start thinking differently today. I'm Mark Lamplugh, and we'll see you next time right here on Now Media TV.